having a job that's providing the basic needs for you really helps your business get off to a stronger foot when you don't need it to perform financially. Save that money and invest it in your own financial security and use this job as a springboard to get yourself out of there even faster. Owning your own business is pretty sweet. Entrepreneurship gets a lot of glory online. Everyone's seemingly touting the endless benefits of being a fearless business owner with a false sense of bravado. And I love business, but you gotta set yourself up to succeed. I fear that too many people think that to be a successful business owner, you must go all in and risk it all. I actually believe the opposite. I believe you should start small, build on the side of a safe job, and as you see that it's growing, lean into that intelligently. And today I want to talk with you about just that, keeping your day job and building your business on the side. Oh, and never betting the farm. Because I think one of the biggest reasons that white coats haven't gone into entrepreneurship is that they get this messaging online that to be a business owner, you have to give it your all, quit your job, go all in. And then there's this huge risk. What if it doesn't work? What if it doesn't pan out? What if I can't feed my family? What if I lose my house? Those are huge, huge, huge risks. And I would never quit a job and start a company that I hadn't seen consistent, reliable income come from and just hope that a wing and a prayer would save me. That kind of entrepreneurship is toxic and will just lead you to imploding from stress. So today I want to talk with you about the business disaster and how we commonly think of business and have seen it probably with someone in our life of businesses failing, and then talk about the flip side of how I love building businesses on the side of a day job for two reasons. One, for financial security, and two, for just creative energy, because I think you need both to have a successful business. So let's just start by looking at the recipe for a business disaster with the understanding that a new business won't save you. A new business will not save you. And if you're in financial straits and are in a lot of trouble, that is the worst time to begin a business. If I were you, I would work any job that just gives me some kind of income rather than start a business to save you from financial ruin. I strongly believe you should not start a business to keep yourself financially solvent in the short term, especially if you have no prior successful experience. For example, the framework that we don't often hear online, but happens probably a dime a dozen in real life, is the real life business experience of people who start a new business from scratch and go all in, go big or go home, and then implode. It goes something like this. So first, you're strapped for cash and probably in debt. And so you think okay, this business will save me. I'll go all into this franchise or this thing, and that will give me the cash I need. And they really thought they were starting the business with the intention of it saving them, that this business will be their financial hero, and likely went into a business that could start quickly and to see revenue quickly, which probably has a lot more debt, whether it's a franchise or for pharmacists, buying a pharmacy to have some sort of assets up front that you can monetize quickly, but got into way more debt from the beginning, and then forcing it to work. So then working 100-hour weeks and burning personal relationships, taking their health, and ultimately spiraling into despair and feeling wow, I bit off way more than I could chew. I've never done entrepreneurship before, and now I have another debt ball and chain hanging on my ankle, and this is hard stuff. Because when you need a business to be a cash cow right out of the gate, you put a mountain of energy-crushing pressure on your venture to succeed. So much pressure that you're going to implode, especially if you have basic living expenses that aren't being met, especially if you have a family that is depending on you for basic living expenses, and things like your home is in jeopardy of being lost if you're that much on the financial edge of crisis and ruin. And I don't know about you, but when I'm stressed, I start making terrible decisions. And the effect of terrible decisions you'll make when stressed is really amplified in the context of business, that if you need your business to produce X amount of income in X amount of days, then you start doing scrappy, sloppy things, just doing anything to get that next check to come. And it ultimately just really doesn't serve your business well. You start taking shortcuts and losing the whole trajectory of your business just because you're so hungry for that cash now. And you start spreading yourself way too thin and doing everything for everyone just to get those next dollars in your bank account. And this is where you hear a lot of really heart-wrenching stories of those that are so desperate to make it succeed that they bet their whole farm on the venture, hoping that by proving their commitment to the cause, the fates will intervene and save them from sheer grit alone. And that's just a recipe for business disaster, needing a venture to succeed quickly and putting all of your energy and dependence on a certain outcome to happen very quickly, especially if there's no prior success or financial security to pin those hopes to. And so I think it's kind of with this very risky view that we see entrepreneurship in the world of healthcare and think like, oh yeah, like I'm not going to bet the farm. Like, I don't want risk in my life. I do not want to start a business because I could lose a lot. And I actually agree with you. Like, if you're going to lose a lot, then it's not worth the risk. I want very small risks with a very big gain, even if that gain has a longer time span to be achieved. I will take the long time span and low risk any day over high risk, high loss opportunities. And I think to succeed in business, maybe it's personally because of my own experience in living this, but I really think you need two things to thrive. Aside from not needing immediate gratification, to not need your business to provide for you, I think having two things really helps. And that's financial security and creative headspace. Because if you really want your business venture to succeed, you need to come from a place of strength. You need a strong foundation, both financial and creative, to build this venture. Because if you're desperate, it's going to show in your work. And desperation sucks your creativity and it makes you really sloppy. And so the two things I want to talk about in depth in today's episode is the gift of financial security and the gift of a creative headspace. And this is why I strongly advocate for keeping your day job and using it as financial security while you build on the side. This way you can benefit from a steady cash flow and having a safety net. Appreciate that job as the security that it is. And I know that jobs really aren't secure and that anyone could be laid off any day, but having a job that's providing the basic needs for you really helps your business get off to a stronger foot when you don't need it to perform financially. Use that job to the most. And instead of feeling miserable in your job and spending all of your money buying things that make you feel better, save that money and invest it in yourself, in your own financial security, and use this job as a springboard to get yourself out of there even faster. People who are miserable in their jobs and getting themselves more in debt and just staying stuck are one way of approaching miserable jobs, and people who are miserable in their jobs and using that as the motivating factor to get themselves out of there and using that job and the cash that it's giving you to save a financial reserve are where wealthy white coats shine. And I strongly, strongly, strongly would advocate for getting your financial house in order and having some sort of financial security, because it really opens up the options that you have in your future and gives you more chances to take new opportunities that people who are so tied into living paycheck to paycheck can never experience. First of all, gain financial security and start building that now. I very much recognize that it's a years-long process, and it's something I've been doing for 13 years since I graduated pharmacy school. So it's not something that can be done overnight, but is really impressive how small actions that you commit to over months and years to start and grow that financial security really improve your trajectory and give you more options than people who don't have financial security and are living paycheck to paycheck and are just stuck trading time for dollars. Anyway, I went off on a little bit of tangent, but I really know the blessings of financial security and would highly advocate that you start today to build yourself those buffers to save money for yourself and cut any unnecessary expenses, because once you grow a nest egg for yourself, you can use that to go into business sooner or make some cool investments or even just cut back on the hours working at the job you don't like. The gift of financial security really gives you financial options, but also it gives you creative options. And that's what I want to talk about next, is the gift of creative headspace. So the two best things you can do to start as an entrepreneur or have a healthy foundation on which you're building, and two, to have a creative headspace. Because if you've read any of my work over the past 2 years, you know I love to create just for the sheer joy of it. I love having the flexibility to build what my heart is calling out to me. And I think that's kind of the magic part of business, is your creativity. And I believe that by building a creative business, a business that, by creative business, I don't mean like you're an artist or a sculptor per se, but building a creative business being that you're doing what you actually want to do and like what your gut is telling you to do rather than what you should do. You get benefits of having fun and not taking yourself so seriously and not needing the business to save you. And when you have a creative business, you can scale that business in its own time without rushing the process. And you just have the free headspace to create and work in a way that brings joy, doing what you love rather than what will bring you the most cash up front. Because as any business owner knows, owning a business takes consistent effort over time. And if you're just building something only for the cash, then it'll be really easy to fizzle when the tedium of business hits. When you do what you love and you're genuinely interested in, you bring a spark that no one else can replicate. After 3 years of running a business, that's still my favorite part. It's just the creative element and the science experiment of seeing what's working, what's not, and then leaning into what's working to build more of that. For me, business is just creating, seeing what works, what does, then I lean into it and give people more of that. And so for me, it doesn't feel like risk or hoping that it works. I'm doing what people are telling me that they want more of. And so it's just the natural next step of what direction business is going and what it is I'm creating that quarter. Because I see so many of my friends battling through business like it's a mountain to be scaled in the shortest time possible. And for me, it's kind of the joy of unfurling energy and growing in new ways and actually getting paid for it. So it's professional and personal development journey that I'm getting paid to take. It's pretty sweet. And I know that this advice may seem counterintuitive and like I'm recommending taking the long way by keeping your job for as long as possible and doing what creatively you actually want to do. However, I found that by shoring up my financial reserves ahead of time and approaching business from an aspect of lighthearted fun, I'm actually on the shortcut to success. And I'm able to grow quickly because I don't need my business to do anything for me. I expect nothing and I appreciate everything. And it turns out you can build some really cool things when you think and work that way. And there's no risk and all reward by building lean and building something on the side that can just complement what is working for you financially until you get up and running. And that's been my experience. Is I built a business while working full-time as a pharmacist, and then after a year was able to just quit my job and go into this business full-time very confidently because I had seen that what I was doing was working. It was a hard year. It was a long year. It was an awful year. Well, not awful. It was just a lot of work doing both. And I think there is a time and season in business for doing a lot and having little time, but getting the momentum to get up and running and then being able to taper off and keep running with it. But that's a conversation for another day. Today, I just really wanted to talk with you about why I believe you should keep your day job and build your business on the side and never bet the farm. Business is so fun, so exciting, and it really stretches you and grows you in ways that no W-2 job ever can. But it can also be ruined if you put all of your pressure on yourself to succeed and give yourself the chance to lose big. That is no way to live. And with online and the internet and having everyone at your fingertips so easily, there's really no need to take big risks. Just start creating now.